All right, hey everyone, it's February the 24th, the year 2017. I got a letter from Schaeffer today from Marion, Illinois, CMU secret CIA torture prison. Absolutely horrific that we even have those on American soil. Let's read the letter together. He puts Francis Schaeffer Cox 16179-006. That's been his prison number for the past 6 or 7 years. We have U.S. Penitentiary, CMU, Communications Management Unit, P.O. Box 1000, Marion, Illinois, 62959. Page 1. Dear Rudy, he dates it February 13th, so he wrote it 11 days ago. He calls it the Trump pardon strategy. Well, I pray to God that does happen. Personally, I don't have a lot of faith in Donald Trump, but I don't let that stop me from asking. Moses asked Pharaoh to let his people go, so I'm not above asking. I'm just saying I don't have a lot of faith in Donald John Trump. But here we go. All right, here's how I think we should approach the Trump administration for relief. The overall argument will be United States versus Cox is a test case that is trying to set brand new precedent for the Second Amendment thought crime. It was Obama and his crowd trying to end run Congress to go after gun owners. Trump needs to stop the Department of Justice from pushing this bad case through the Ninth Circuit now before it's decided against gun rights and freedom. We should ask for a pardon or a commutation of sentence, but that wouldn't save everyone else from the bad case law my case is about to set. Does Trump want to put this anti-Second Amendment case in the hands of the same Ninth Circuit that just sided with the Muslim invasion over the president's travel restrictions? I doubt it. He could tell the United States Attorney to not oppose my appeal. He could tell the United States Attorney to not oppose my appeal. He could tell them to move to dismiss the charges, or he could order the U.S. Attorney to hand over all the case files to the defense, which would cause the U.S. Attorney to drop the case rather than comply with the order. The hard part is making this happen fast, before the court can set that bad precedent. But if we are organized, we can do it. Here is an outline. Number 1. I'll fill out the petition for the commutation and put my own letter with it. The theme of my letter will be, I'm not a criminal. I'm loyal to Trump. This is much bigger than just me. If you let me out, I'm not going to go commit a crime and make you look bad. You know I'm safe because I already proved it. When even Fulton was threatening my life, I still said no to violence. That's why they tried me on the Second Amendment thought crime, not an actual crime. Number 2, we need Larry Pratt, President of Gun Owners of America, to write a letter to attach the theme of which is, this case outlaws the belief in the Second Amendment. Schaeffer Cox didn't do anything. The prosecution is claiming that Schaeffer Cox believes that the Second Amendment was put there by our founding fathers so that the normal folks could stand down the government by force if it ever turned on the people, and that this belief should now be treated as criminally conspiring against the government. They couldn't confiscate the guns, so they're trying to set up a way to confiscate the gun owners. It's Second Amendment thought crime. Please don't let your Department of Justice put this case in front of the Ninth Circuit.
Prison is a backdoor to gun control.
My wife just added her 2 cents. She said prison is a backdoor to gun control. Okay, let's go back and read what Schaeffer said. It's a Second Amendment thought crime. Please don't let your Department of Justice put this case in front of the Ninth Circuit. Please drop the appeal or dismiss the charges. It's a fringe anti-gun theory of laws that the Trump administration should not advance. And Schaeffer's a nice guy who America needs out of prison, incidentally. Number 3, we need a letter from my U.S. Senator, Lisa Murkowski, to attach that says basically, the prosecutors responsible for this case are cheats and liars. I don't doubt they are doing Schaeffer Cox dirty. They almost certainly hid evidence from the defense, lied to the judge, and broke all sorts of rules. That's their MO, modus operandi, on political cases. So if you want to let Schaeffer out, that's probably good. We need a letter from retired head of state troopers post in Fairbanks, Mr. Hal Hume, that says, I was a trooper all my life. I know Schaeffer and his family well. Schaeffer supports honest law enforcement, and honest law enforcement supports Schaeffer. I know this case, and I was close to Schaeffer leading up to his arrest. He's not violent or criminal or dangerous. He's a God-fearing man who cares about his family and his country. Any claims that he would plot some kind of crime are all lies and fake news. He's an innocent man that is just anti-Second Amendment politics. It's only right to let him out. Number 5, we need a letter from Scooter Welch that says, I'm the former Fairbanks Police Department's chief of police. My daughter is married to Schaeffer's little brother. We all live in Fairbanks. Schaeffer isn't a criminal, but what's been done to him might be criminal. It was very corrupt at the least. Schaeffer needs to be out with his children. He needs to meet his niece and nephew, my grandchildren. I know who's dangerous in this town, and it's not Schaeffer Cox. Please let him out. We need some well-known pastors, preferably ones personally known to Trump, to write letters that say, this is not only Second Amendment thought crime legislation through litigation, it's also religious persecution. The prosecutor said right to the jury that they needed to convict Schaeffer Cox because he believes in God's law. I've listened to the tapes myself. It's un-American and scary. This case is pushing anti-gun, anti-Christian, anti-American agenda, and the Trump White House needs to pull the plug on it and let Schaeffer Cox out of prison. Number 7, we need to get our direct mail place to send out millions of postcards to all my donors so they can write a note on them and send them to the White House. Richard and Maria are currently blocking this. Over several months, we could literally get Trump sent hundreds of thousands of postcards. They would read like this. Dear President Trump, Schaeffer Cox is an innocent political prisoner of the Obama administration. Please drop this case before the courts have a chance to create case law that allows honest, patriotic Americans like me and you to be thrown in prison for our theoretical willingness to stand up to tyranny 20 or 30 years from now. What happened to Schaeffer Cox is wrong. I support you, President Trump, and I know you can't support what's being done to Schaeffer Cox and his family. You should let Schaeffer out of prison because space to write in additional comments. Number 8, we also need to attach the press release to this petition. But before we do that, we need someone, probably Rudy, since he knows the case so well, to go through the press release and insert pictures, exhibits, and hyperlinks to corroborating news articles and to Rudy's best YouTubes. That way the press release is tied in with real-life context and isn't just a fairy tale in a vacuum. Number 9, we need Robert John to give us a letter to go with it that says, I'm a Superman hotshot appellate attorney. I worked extensively on Schaeffer's legal team. This Orwellian case seeks to expand the already overly broad conspiracy statutes to include non-specific theoretical willingness to resist a government if it starts committing crimes against the people. In 30 years of practice, it's the most scary thing I've seen. If you want to make America great again, tell your United States attorney to quit pushing this bad case. Or if you want a less direct approach, order the prosecution to hand over all the case files to the defense. Once they stop withholding those, we can negotiate this case away before it goes to the Ninth Circuit and sets horrifyingly bad precedent for the Second Amendment thought crime. And by the way, Schaeffer was a talented political leader, well liked by everyone who knew him, and very sociable. He poked fun at the system and made people think, and got people to have fun while doing it. That's why he was dangerous. He wasn't and isn't a violent criminal. Number 10, in addition to the letters we attach to the petition and the postcards to the White House, we need to put out an outline letter on our WhoFrameSchaefferCox.com website so people who didn't get a postcard can send a letter to Trump. The outline will be, and it says White House address, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, The Swamp, 666. Number 1, the outline will be, number 1, this is Second Amendment thought crime. Number 2, Schaeffer loves America and is not dangerous. Number 3, the case law this could set is dangerous. Number 11, we should also use Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc. to get a Stop the Thought Crime test case, whitehouse.gov petition going. We can also push this in our direct mail efforts, if Richard and Maria step aside. Number 12, last but not least, it would be good to hire an attorney spokesperson to shepherd this through. As my attorney, they can call to check up on things and get other attorneys to actually talk to them. They can also make deals to make my case go away. Talk to my prosecutors and call me in prison. Again, Richard and Maria will have to give me the something funds. I can't read that word. Hold on just a second. The donated. Maria and Richard will have to give me the donated funds they are holding hostage if we want this to work. To work? I think it's to work. This to happen. If we want this to happen. Number 8, page 8. These 12 steps are the basic plan I think we should work off of going forward. Hopefully some people can split up the work, track down the people and get the letters and get this moving. Most of these letters, outlines I gave, are summaries of letters those people have already given for sentencing or of things they have said. But any good letters from well-respected, influential people would be good to attach. 3 steps. Number 1, petition with high-profile letters attached. Number 2, ongoing barrage of individual cards and letters. Number 3, negotiate an end to the case that avoids setting precedent for Second Amendment thought crime. We've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and this will be fun. Let's go. Smiley face, Schaeffer Cox. So, Schaeffer is a fighter. He never gives up. He's given anybody who's listening that has ears to hear and eyes to see that has been called to help out Schaeffer Cox. If you're touched by Schaeffer Cox's writings, if you know in your heart that he's innocent, if it bothers you that we have a guilty man that spent 6 years in prison and is sentenced to 26 years in prison, then I pray that you help out with some of these action items. Certainly not one person can do it all, but if all of us did one thing, or reached out to Larry Pratt or reached out to Lisa Murkowski or started a White House government petition or wrote a postcard asking Trump to release Schaeffer Cox or write Attorney General Sessions, every little bit that each of us does adds up, right? And so you heard his words. I read all 8 pages. You do as the Lord leads you and as your conscience dictates. Thank you for your time.